Hi, we're going to jump in today and talk about the two projects that you have for the course that'll be due towards the end of the semester. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And I did mean to put this in student view. Hold on. I want my screen to look like yours. Okay, so in the course in Canvas, if you go and you look along this left-hand column, you can click on Syllabus, and the syllabus tells you everything that you need to know about the course. But if you scroll down to the evaluation criteria here, you'll see that we have four main things, four things that you'll be graded on. So the weekly discussion forums, there's a discussion forum every week for the 15 weeks. And so we have been doing those, and that's been going well, which is great. And then we also have the weekly written reflections, and that is there's 10 of those. And so basically there's been one every week for the first part of the course. And there will be one every week up until I think it's week 9. And then maybe we skip a week and then you have another one in week 11. But they're done in the first part of the semester. So those weekly written reflections, I feel like you are well on your way and understand how those work. And I have so when we look at that, the discussion forums is worth 30% of your overall grade. The written reflections are worth 50% of your overall grade for the course. And then there's two projects. There's the community engagement project, and then there's the experiential nature project. So if you look here, the community engagement project is going to be due in week 12. So that will be the one that's coming up first. So definitely want to start looking into that one. And then the experiential nature project, this is not due until week 14, but I encourage you to be reading the handbook that is posted in the that's posted. I'll show you where it's posted actually in a second. For myself, I decided to print it out. But this is the Experiential Nature Project is really a project about going outdoors for your own self and experiencing nature. And in this handbook, there's 13 different chapters. You're only going to have to write up a reflection on 5 of them, but it's important that you don't save all of that until week 14. It won't be as meaningful. So I'm going to encourage you to start, if you haven't already, to start that project. And so I think what I'll do is talk first about the Experiential Nature Project. So where do you go to find information about this? You're going to go back over here to the left-hand column and click modules. And then at the very top of the modules, there's course resources. And if you click on this one, it says Experiential Nature Project due week 14. That's the one we're going to look at first. I'm going to click on here. And there is a description. I'm not going to read this to you, but I encourage you to read it if you haven't already. And essentially, this Experiential Nature Project is all about you and your connection to nature. And so this is experiential, means that you are taking part, you're doing it yourself. And so that analogy I used earlier this semester about, if you were in a drawing course, you would certainly want to be drawing on your own. Same thing with nature-based approaches. If you're learning about how to help children connect to nature, you yourself should be connecting to nature. So the project, the Experiential Nature Project, you're going to want to download this, and you can either there's a PDF version that you can find in Canvas, or you can click on here and it takes you to a Google Doc version of it. There was a question that this is different than the textbook. This is something that I've created specifically for this course. So you're going to want to download it so that you can have it. You can just read it from your screen, or you can print it out if you want to. Since you're taking a course at CCV, you can go to your local CCV site and use their library, and you should have, my understanding is you should have a certain number of copies that you can make each semester. So this might be something that you decide you want to print out so that you can have a paper version of it. Anyway, read through the directions here, and it will just kind of talk about what you're doing. But essentially the format of what you're turning in, you're going to have, I see a typo. It should say 2-page paper. It says 2-page page. I'm going to fix that typo. But you're going to write an introductory paragraph. Then you're going to write 5 paragraphs. And each one of those paragraphs is going to be explaining one of the different outdoor activities that you completed. Okay, so you're going to want to read, kind of thinking about pacing for this project. You're going to want to, be reading maybe a chapter a week and trying to get one activity done each week and then writing it up. So you're just writing up a paragraph, kind of summarizing the activity and your thoughts about it. And then the last paragraph is going to be a conclusion paragraph. This here just talks about the formatting. We're using an APA style. I'm not a real stickler about APA formatting. Like, you don't need to use the header. But basically we're kind of following the APA format. And you need to, what you're submitting for this experiential nature project is a minimum of 2 pages, and the reference page is not considered one of those pages, okay? So you can read over this assignment, and there is a rubric so that you can understand where the 10 points are coming from. So, the content and the focus is really writing those 5 examples of experiences that you had outdoors. And then, you can read the rest of the rubric and see what else. So that's the first project. If you have questions about that, I definitely encourage you to send me an email and I can answer your questions directly. But let's go back to the modules. Under those course resources at the top of modules, this is where the PDF version of this Cultivating Your Nature Connection handbook is. So if you don't want the Google Doc version that was in the assignment, this is where the PDF lives. So you can print it that way. And then the second project. So if the Experiential Nature Project is about you and your relationship to nature, the Community Engagement Project is thinking about a project that you can design that helps other people within your community, and thinking about how you build their awareness about nature-based approaches. So this one, again, I'm not going to read all of this to you, but I encourage you to go and read these so you have an understanding of what's going to be due. The first aspect of the project, there's sort of like 2 deadlines. In week 12, you're going to be, let me just highlight this part here. In week 12, you're going to share out a 150-word summary of your project in the discussion forum. So you want to be sure that you're starting your project soon, so that when week 12 comes, you've already done some of the research and thinking about it. And then in the discussion forum, you're going to write a 150-word summary of the project, and you're going to post it in the forum. Your project doesn't need to be 100% completed yet, but I do want you to have put some thought into it. By sharing these in the discussion forum, you'll be able to get feedback from your peers. Peers might ask questions or ask clarifying questions or give you ideas of something they've done in their programs in the past. And so they can, give you some insight into your project. So definitely encourage you to get started on this. The final deliverable, meaning the final project, this can look different ways. So this doesn't have to be a research project. It could be, so you'll have up until the very end of the semester to turn this project in. And you'll be able to, there's 10 different topics here that I'll kind of read through really quickly. But what you're turning in will look different. Some of you might be writing a project report or some sort of proposal kind of document. Some of you might decide to do a slide deck, so meaning like a PowerPoint slide deck or Google Slides or Prezi or some other digital presentation, but preparing a slideshow that would summarize the topic you picked. And polishing it so that it's like a slide deck that you could present, whether whether it's your audience would be, currently enrolled families or the school board that you're approaching about your idea, or some other community organization. And then the third option would be doing something that's more of like a handbook or some sort of handout, but some sort of written document that you might share with families or other community members. And so this project is kind of really open. I want it to be meaningful and relevant to your work. And so what I've done is I've come up with some ideas as jumping in points. And so I've listed out 10 different ideas here. And then I wrote what the task is for the student and what you would deliver. So one idea is creating a family handbook explaining a nature-based program approach. So your task would be to create a comprehensive family handbook that outlines the philosophies, the goals, the daily activities of a nature-based program, include guidance on how parents can support this approach at home. And so your deliverable would be a well-designed and informative family handbook. So that's an option. Another is that you might decide you want to create a slide deck, something that you would share with families at maybe open house or parent night at your program. And maybe your slide deck, the focus is on developmental benefits of nature. And so your task then would be to create a presentation that talks about those developmental approach. You definitely want to, with slide decks, you want to keep it informative. You want to make sure whoever your target is, that it's written so that it appeals to them. And so the deliverable, or the thing that you would turn in, would be your visually appealing slide deck. And I think one thing with slide decks is you don't want to put tons of words into the slides, but in most programs, you can put speaker notes beneath it. So you could have some of the notes that you would use. I'm not going to read through each one of these, but what I want you to know is that really any of the topics that we've covered in the semester in this course, you could create a community project. What I think is important for you to know is you don't actually have to carry it out. So let's say that you decided you wanted to take on the winter clothing swap. So what you're do in this one, my thought was like promoting a winter clothing swap event for your community. You could write a press release that captures the event, why you're doing it, maybe create the flyers that would go with it. So the thing that you would be turning in is like that press release and the flyer or other kind of emails or communications. I didn't write that there, but kind of like the information that you would use to make that happen. But you don't actually have to carry out the event. So you're kind of doing the planning phases of it, getting it organized, but you don't have to, for this project, for this course, you don't actually have to carry it out. Okay. So there's lots of different options here. You could write a grant proposal. You could create a proposal about putting a community garden in. You might write a social media campaign to promote nature-based education. You could plan out an outdoor adventure day. So like if you wanted to organize a community event where, you're doing some specific outdoor adventure with the community, you could plan that out. What were some of the other ones that I passed over here? Creating a handout resource about risky play for families, a proposal that you could submit to the school board about developing an outdoor classroom or developing a workshop to help your coworkers understand the value of outdoor play. Those are 10 ideas. Sometimes when you have too many ideas, it can feel a little bit overwhelming, but hopefully something there sparks your interest. And if you're thinking, you know what, when we read a certain article or we did something in one of the discussion forums this semester, it sparked something for you and you want to go a different direction, it's totally fine. Just email me to make sure that what you're selecting is on track. And I'm pretty confident, if you're excited about it and it's relevant to your work, that we're going to agree on it as a good topic. But definitely email me, april.zajko@ccd.edu. And I am really good at getting right back to you. Those are your two projects. Like I mentioned, they're each worth 10% of your grades, so you definitely want to get a jump on them and get started. If anything is confusing or you have wonderings, just let me know by email and I will help clarify. And hopefully these are both projects that, add to your understanding and something that you can, I know you're busy and I know this semester is busy for all of us, but hopefully these projects have meaning and you'll find them enjoyable. Okay. Have a great week. Bye.